My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Peter Rabbit 2 The Runaway. The wah 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 wonder why wah wah wah. Okay, if you like Dale Shannon, then you'll know what I was getting at there. If you haven't listened to the song Runaway by Dale Shannon, you're thinking, what the hell is he doing? So just ignore that last part. But Peter Rabbit 2 The Runaway. What did I think? Well, first, let's talk about my thoughts on the first Peter Rabbit. I like the first Peter Rabbit a lot more than most people. It didn't capture that same spirit that the books had, but it definitely seems to be its own thing entirely. And at that, I thought it was really entertaining. I thought it was funny, energetic, and I really liked the characters of Bee and McGregor and Peter. And I really liked the trio and the conflict within. I liked that aspect of the movie, and the soundtrack was really good to the first movie. So I was looking forward to the second one. And does it deliver? Kinda. I won't say this movie's bad. It is fun. I laughed quite a bit throughout, especially due to some of the more exaggerated humor. And the soundtrack does bring the same energy to this movie, but I just don't feel like story-wise it was as strong as the first one. It was a little all over the place, and I didn't really care overly about any particular story. McGregor's pushed almost entirely to the side. B's storyline just felt very contrived. I don't think it actually added anything at all to the movie besides giving her something to do. And Peter's storyline, I didn't really care for either. Like, there is a fun heist element to it, but that's about as much as you're going to get from it. It introduces some supporting characters that I just did not care about whatsoever, and I felt like it went a really predictable way that didn't really tie Peter's character arc together in a satisfying emotional way. In fact, I kind of feel like it was a bit more of the same character arc he had in the first movie. And I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't like the fact that B, McGregor, and Peter didn't have much to do in this second movie. That's what I loved about the first one. It was those three characters and their dynamic, and that's entirely missing from this movie. This movie is also entirely self-aware of the criticisms the first movie received, including James Corden's voice and the way they make fun of that. I thought was really funny. But it was also a common complaint for people to complain about the fact that the first movie was a commercialized version of the books. And I can totally see what they mean by that, but I review stuff for what they are and not what I would have liked them to be. But this movie makes a point to kind of bring up how the studios commercialize the famous books. And I think the movie thinks it's being clever and self-aware that if we bring it up, no one can criticize us for it. But in fact, it had the exact opposite effects of that. I didn't like the self-aware element because I thought it was acknowledging how disrespectful and how much it butchered an original version of those characters in that story. And by pointing it out, you draw attention to it, and then it's trying to say that it's okay though because we pointed it out. And in fact, it kind of just felt disrespectful, and it definitely brought my overall thoughts on this movie down quite a bit. Overall, you can still watch this movie and be entertained. You'll laugh a few times, I know I did, but just looking at it script-wise and character-wise and what they did here, I don't think it captured that magic that the first movie had, and it definitely felt like a big step down to a point where I don't really care if we ever see these characters again. I don't feel like this movie did anything special with them, and it just feels like a generic studio sequel. So for that, I'm gonna go ahead and give Peter Rabbit 2 The Runaway a 5.5 out of 10. Did you see Peter Rabbit 2 The Runaway, or did you go into the theater and then ran away from it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, stay tuned for some more videos soon. Gavin out.